Today we're here for lead generation. I want you to remember something about lead generation. I'll give you a quick background. I've been selling real estate. In May of this year, it'll be 42 years since I sold my first home. So what I want you to think about, and they didn't have red suits back then. So what I want you to think about for a minute is this one sentence that is the most important thing in lead generation. Everything works, nothing doesn't. Now, while that sounds simple or confusing, it's the sentence I have to use the most when I was coaching a lot. Which of these million things that dropped into my email boxes, Rick, about lead generation shall I do? Everything works, nothing doesn't. Pick something and stick to it. That's why I'm so excited about our speakers today, because they picked something and they did it well. And they kept doing it well and did it better and improved. So when you listen to them today, it's not about that you're wrong for not doing what they're doing. But maybe if you did one thing to the level that they did their one thing, you'll have similar success. All right? So I am going to go last today. I am going to speak. But these two gentlemen are going to rock the inner souls of your lead generation person. And it doesn't matter what part of real estate you're in, whether it's mortgage, title, home warranty, or real estate sales like the majority of you. All right? What I hope for you is that by the time you hit 42 years with a license, that you're retired on a beach, not still selling like I am. But I can tell you, you can have the most fun in the world when you're committed to it. So, without further ado, now that you're all seated and you're all happy and you're excited, I want to ask you one more time, how you doing? Good. All right, so I want to talk really quickly about our first speaker. His name's Mr. Aaron Rawls, and he hails from right here in your backyard in El Dorado Hills area. He was a former sergeant with the California Department of Corrections. He might still be carrying, I'm not sure. So don't test him. He was owner of Lucky's Barbershop in Folsom, and he's been in real estate for a mere 6 years. I think my socks are older than that. He's made Masters Club every year. He's won a huge award with the company he's with right now 3 times, which is a big deal, and he's top 2% in Sacramento, Placer, and El Dorado counties. Please stand up and give a rising ovation for Mr. Aaron Rawls.
Thank you. I don't know about standing ovation, but we'll give it a shot. Brent asked me to speak a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago. Had a knot in my stomach ever since, so bear with me. Okay, as Rick said, I've been in the real estate game now for 6 years. My advice that I'm going to give you today comes from all different angles. I don't do any specific lead generation. I've just found different ways to kind of capitalize on my network. So some of the stuff that I'm going to be going over is just from my own personal experience, and hopefully the stories I tell you today, you'll be able to garner a little bit that'll help you with that. Whenever I go to an event, I think, well, who's the guy that I'm listening to? How much does he do? I see a lot of different places, like top producer panels where someone sold 9 homes in the year. I want to be around people and be in an environment where people are selling 9 homes a week. So that's really how I have my mindset. When I first got into real estate, I wanted to do an extra maybe $10,000 a month I was hoping to earn while I was continuing to cut hair at my barbershop. And since then, my goals have jumped up, and now my goal is $100,000 a month. Within the next 21, 23 days, I'm set to close on $147,000 in commission. And this year I'll make over $1 million selling real estate. And I only say that because when it comes to my business, I track my profit and loss. I don't really count the numbers. In fact, they were asking me, well, how many homes did you sell? I don't really know. I don't track the homes. I count and track my profit and loss statement. And a lot of the stuff that we do and my team does is not on the MLS. So I don't know. I don't really put a lot of effort into that. I just track my my business that way. Everybody here pretty familiar with Tony Robbins? Okay, I was at a Tony Robbins event one time, and there was one thing that took 1 minute that took away, and it changed my life. And I would like to change your lives. If I could have one volunteer, please. Right here. Come, you got to come up. He's like, oh, shit, I didn't know I'd have to come up. What's your name? Ryan? Yes. Ryan? Aaron, good to meet you, buddy. Okay, so this. Here, Ryan, you hold that for a minute. Oh, hold on. This is a picture of a chicken, okay? When my daughter saw this, she said, you should have had me draw that for you. So I'm going to ask Ryan to point to different parts of this chicken's body, okay? And this is going to change your life, at least for today. Okay. So I'm going to point to different parts of this chicken, Ryan. You just name the part that I'm pointing at.
The eye. The mouth. The beak. The foot. The tail. The wing.
Correct. Hold both of your hands like this. A little closer together. Hold them up a little bit. Okay, now on the count of 3, do you guys remember the last word that Ryan said? Say it 3 times real fast. Hello? Hello? Ryan? That's all it was. Thank you. I know, that was dumb. I had to do something. I'm scared to death. It's my daughter's joke. Okay, when I first got into real estate, I was spending 6 hours a day at my barbershop. So I would cut hair 6 hours a day, 8 to 10 hour days. And every day throughout the day, I'm the guy that people call, text, ask, hey, I need a guy for this. I need a guy for a roof. I need a guy for landscape. I need a guy for wheels on my car. I'm the guy that always knew a guy. So literally after standing, you know, if you're a barber, you're standing in the same place all day, the same 2-foot area. So I started thinking of ways I could leverage my connections, and real estate came to mind. Literally, in one day at the barbershop, I came home and decided that I'm going to get my real estate license. So I ordered my books through Allied Real Estate School that night and knocked out the classes as fast as I could and took my test. Now, during that time I was studying for real estate, I got in a really good habit of getting up at 5 in the morning, going to the gym, reading and studying with my highlighters and everything. I was on the treadmill, on the bike, and I found that by doing that, it really started a good habit, which is self-education. Since then, I've spent an hour to 3 hours every single day on self-education. And I'm in podcasts, books, audible books, real books, every single day. Literally, it's probably over 3 hours a day at this point, but I never miss a day. And I'm definitely listening to that more than I listen to music anymore. And that has helped change my mindset and get me focused on taking business to the next level. I know that my goal of $100,000 a month this year is probably going to end up being $200,000 a month next year, because I know I can do it, and I'm building the foundation and building my business in such a way that my referrals are coming in like crazy. So last night I put out 3 listing agreements, got them all back last night, got another one going out today. And I only say that to show that if you are doing business the right way, you know, I don't buy leads. I focus heavily on building relationships and creating memorable experiences, whether it's at our open house or just getting to know people in general. I'm always helping people, whether they're using me to buy or sell a home or not, or if they're an agent. I don't care what brokerage they're at. I'm always trying to help people, and that really plays out. Helping agents plays out because, you know, at some point you got to get your offer accepted. So I want to have a good reputation and people know, because inevitably, just like on my team, it happens every other day. Hey, do you know this agent? Hey, do you know Ryan Jones? Oh yeah, he's cool. He was at my event. He came up on stage with me. Yeah. So that's how the game is played. Everybody does that when offers are coming and going. So I want to be one of the ones that has a good reputation and continue to keep those relationships going. That's something when I was doing my self-education stuff that I found. That's what the odds of being born are. So if the odds of being born are 1 in 400 trillion, and we have such a limited time here, what are we going to do with it? I choose to max it out as much as I can. My wife will even ask me, when is enough enough? So I don't know. When is enough for that tree to stop growing outside? For me, I'm always going to keep growing, always going to keep striving, trying to make as much money as possible. And it's not even for the material things the money brings, it's the freedom the money brings. It's being able to provide for my kids, my family, you know, things like that. So as long as I keep that in my mind, to me, there's nowhere to go but up. So that's one of the things I think about all the time. Internally, I believed and have believed that I'm a multimillionaire for the last 10 years. So now I'm at the point where I'm trying to make it happen. And I will, hopefully. So I put this slide up here because I was looking for a slide. There's a term belly to belly, and it comes to negotiations, to business, and everything else like that. I don't know if I've ever cold called anybody since I started real estate. The thought of doing that I just don't really like it. I'd rather put myself in a position to succeed with open houses or different events like that. But basically the gist of it is you want to be belly to belly with your customers if possible. That's how I feel that most of my business gets done. It's really hard to do a big business if you're behind a computer or on a phone all the time. I know you guys get the emails all the time from people to try to sell you everything. It's the same thing with our clients. You know, they're getting hit up from realtors all the time, getting the mailers, and I just find that my conversion is way better when it's face to face. So that's something I've stayed in mind with. I'll go back to the video that I had playing. When I did get my real estate license, it was kind of good timing because a partner of mine, David Graves with Inner Circle Mortgage, was just getting his mortgage license. So we started brainstorming and teaming up on everything. And as our business grew, this is one of the things that we actually spent a little money on. This was a commercial that we ran at the Palladio movie theater, and it ran for 6 months.
What if the real estate game changed? What if buying and selling homes became easy? What if a realtor listened to you, focused on you, cared about you? What if every attention to detail was elevated? What if the best people in real estate came together and formed a team? A team that went to work for you. A team that does everything. We are your home team. And we just changed the game of real estate.
So one of the main ways that I started building my business, and when I started having those $100,000 months, and it really rubs me the wrong way because I've heard so many people talk bad about it, but open houses are the key to building a big business, in my opinion. If you're new, you need to be doing open houses. When I was hitting my $100,000 months, I was doing open houses all the time. And there is, in my opinion, no better way to generate leads than an open house. So if they're coming in, they're thinking about it one way or the other. Even if it's a neighbor coming to check it out, they're wanting to know what it's worth and how you're doing it, because at some point the thought is going to be in their mind. With that being said, when I originally began doing open houses, I'd be wearing slacks, long sleeve shirts, hands in my pocket. You know, pretty much, I'd say 75% of my body's covered in tattoos. So when I would do the open houses, I was super self-conscious about that. Like, oh man, you know, I'm in these $1 million homes, my hands in my pocket, or wherever I was at. I was real self-conscious about it. Once I started being more myself, business definitely picked up. So I would say, if there's a certain thing about you, just embrace how you are, you know, in the way I live my life and the people I'm around. You know, we drive lowriders, ride Harleys, and a lot of those guys have money too. So if you're just yourself, you'll attract the people that are in alignment with kind of how you live your life. Because one of the things we really try to do is turn our friends and clients and family into cheerleaders for our business. So any chance we can to help people out, to help people, we do. One thing with the open houses, here's how we're crushing open houses right now. If you're at a brokerage or you're on a team where you guys have off-market listings that you have access to, right now, without a doubt, that is what's helping us convert like crazy at open houses. I double-ended 2 deals in the last 30 days from open houses, and it's from that. So a few things when it comes to open houses that I do and don't do. Number one, I never ask anyone if they have an agent. I always act as if they don't. So to me, that's kind of where I see a lot of agents go wrong. Oh, are you working with anyone? Once they say they are, then you cannot you can't tell them about really anything. You know, it wouldn't be cool to do that. So I never ask if they do. I just let them know the value that we bring, which is right now we have 28 off-market properties. Literally right now my team and I have 28 off-market properties. So that's a big value when you're doing an open house and there's 50. I just did an open house Thursday. We had 50 groups through in an open house, a 3-hour open house in the middle of the day. And I double-ended that property. But as they're coming through, I don't ask if they have an agent, and I make sure that if, you know, you can kind of get a vibe if they like it or not, and say, hey, if this house isn't the one for you, just to let you know, my team and I have 28 off-market properties. Here's my card. I'm not going to call you. I'm not going to bug you. Reach out to me anytime if you have any questions. I'd love the opportunity to earn your business. And that alone, just saying that, and not the, oh, we, the homeowners have asked for their security that you sign in. We don't do anything like that. I just am real subtle with it, real genuine, real easy, because I don't like to be sold when I go places. So I try not to sound too salesy when we're doing it. So I just give them the info. I let them see the list. I'll pull out my phone. Hey, this is some of the stuff we have coming up. If you want to stay in touch, you want to avoid all this. A lot of our clients are willing to sell the house off market. Stay in touch with me. So that's a good way to do it. The other thing we do is before anybody leaves, 100% of the time, I will run out. Literally the other day I had to do it because we were so busy, but I'll run out and give them my card again and ask for business. I will say, I love the opportunity to earn your business. My wife and I are both full-time agents. Anything we can do to earn your business, please give us a call. A lot of times I'm at open houses, even with some of the people on my own team or other friends of mine, and I just see them say, okay, bye, as people walk out the door. And I think, man, what a missed opportunity. That could be a $20,000 deal there. So I always ask for the business. Neighbors, I've got a house right now, a longtime friend of mine. We're remodeling. I'll get into how we do that in a minute. But she told me, my neighbor Richard was out the other day. He was talking about selling. So I went by 2 days ago. I went by to check on the progress of our remodel we have going on, and I saw him outside. And I yelled from across the street. And remember, I'm really heavily tattooed. It's not a good look, but I had my son with me, luckily. I said, hey, Richard? And he stops. And I said, hey, man, good morning. I said, I'm Aaron. I'm Tish's realtor. She said, you might be thinking about selling. Pulled out a card. I said, hey, I'd love the opportunity to earn your business. I said, do you want to see what we're doing in Tish's house? He goes, yeah. He starts walking over. I said, oh, no, you got to put on shoes. It's dusty and dirty in there. So he put on shoes, came over, looked. We hit it off right away. He goes, you want to see the inside of my house? Absolutely. $500,000 house in Rancho. Let's go. So, whether that converts to anything or not, I think it probably will. Tish just got back home today, so she's going to talk to him. So she'll be cheerleading for me on that end also. Right now, the way we're doing it, the market's so hot. Anytime we get a listing, no matter what day of the week it is, if ideally you want to go live on a Thursday. Statistically speaking, that's the best day to go. But if for whatever reason it doesn't work out and our clients, we need to go on a different day, whatever day we go live is the day we hold an open house. We do not wait for the weekend. We're not trying to, no offense, but we're trying to double in every deal that we get. So if we go live on a Tuesday, we're doing an open house on a Tuesday. We're doing an open house on a Wednesday, open house on a Thursday. And one of the ways I look at that is, if you're a fisherman and there's a lake or a pond that has a ton of fish in it, do you want to go on Saturday when every other fisherman's there, or do you want to go on a Tuesday when no other fisherman's there? Because no one else is doing open houses on a Tuesday mid-afternoon. And we're doing them like crazy. Brandon Butler, stand up. Brandon's on my team right there. Brandon's 19 years old. He's close 3 already. Brandon, the open house you did on Country Club, that was on a Thursday, right? How many clients did you get out of that? 1 or 2 at least? Yeah. And they're all shopping what, 900 million? Yeah, about $1 million. Boom. So that's just an example. It's good. We're the only ones out there, and we're doing it so hot and heavy, it's been playing well with anybody. So our goal is to kind of not allow the competition in. I want to try to get a great enough offer, get a bunch of people through there, get all those leads to where we can build our business off of it. Some of the notes I have here are winning over agents. Every time I'm putting an offer in, or an agent calls me, or someone says, hey, Aaron, I saw you guys just closed Country Club. Can you tell me anything about it?
or if something's pending, I'm not real secretive on where things are at. I try to help them out, help them price their properties accordingly. So I think that pays off also, because that me helping out so many other agents has turned into other agents calling me now. Hey Aaron, just want to let you know, if you have any buyers, I know you guys do a lot up here. We have this one coming and that one coming. And then I let my team know, and then it just keeps trickling down. So if you start building good key relationships amongst the real estate community, which it's such a weird dichotomy because we're all competitors, but yet we all have to work together. But so it's kind of weird. But to me, I just feel like the more I pour out, the more I help, the better it is, the more business comes our way. So I would definitely encourage everyone to help out as much as possible. Help out everyone except those appraisers that call every other day trying to get you to do their job. They call me all the time. Every other week now I'm getting calls from appraisers, and I don't call them back. So what else? Okay, so my goals, I talked about that a little bit. I'm trying to hit 100,000 a month. I'm going to keep that going. I don't get intimidated or caught up in the number of homes that people sell. There's a lot of big teams out there. There's a lot of people that are doing business on a massive scale, but it takes a while to build up to that. So for now, I would say focus on keeping track of your money. Rule number 1 is to earn the money. Number 2, you got to protect the money. So don't get caught up in all these things that we get emailed every other day trying to get us to buy leads and do this and do that, because you will go broke chasing that. Do the basics of real estate. Right now, one of the main things that we're doing is circle prospecting our properties. So if it's going to get listed, we're calling, letting the neighbors know it's coming. Open house, letting them know it's coming. Goes pending, let them know it's coming. Goes for sale, let them know it's coming. Justin Padilla, stand up real quick. So Justin cold calls at least 5 days a week, right? Within the last week, how many calls have you made?
250.
Out of the 250, how many CMAs were sent out?
16.
Out of the 16, how many appointments were set?
4.
How much time do you think you actually spent cold calling?
3 hours.
How much money did it cost you to get those phone numbers?
About $20.
That's the business of real estate. That's how you build it right there. And on top of that, this guy's doing open houses every week also. So that's how you build a business. And Justin, if you guys got to see what he looked at, Justin will help you do it. He'll sit with you. He'll help everybody in here. So there's a lot of resources out there. If you're at a brokerage where there's people performing at a high level, they should be willing to help you. If they're not willing to help you, you're at the wrong brokerage. If you're at a brokerage where the top producer is doing 8 deals a year, you're at the wrong brokerage if you're trying to build a big business, So for me, I really try to surround myself with greatness. And the way I'm doing it now, I'm surrounded by people that make my production level look like peanuts. So that's my other note here. Always extend kindness. Just keep helping people, keep pouring back into people. So this is something that gets overlooked too. There's so much stuff out there on branding. You need to create a brand and all this and that. Your reputation is your brand. You got to build your reputation before you can build the brand. Don't spend the money and everything else on branding and marketing and this and that. Build a good reputation. Be the guy that's doing the open houses. Be the guy whose signs are out every weekend working hard. And that'll eventually convert into helping you build your business and build a good solid brand. I go out of my way to have a good positive image within society. Through my barbershop, we've helped mentor a lot of kids. We've always sponsored Little League, baseball, basketball, football, all that. I don't ever tell lies unless I'm playing poker. My goal every time I'm calling an agent, I'm calling them up and I'm saying, hey, JD, this is Aaron with eXp Realty. We just left your property. I'm calling, making those initial touches with the agents with such high energy, to where by the time they get off the phone with me, they're like, oh, that guy sounded cool. That's really how I try to make every call, especially those first calls. If you're submitting offers on behalf of your client with text messages or you're just sending an email, that's not a good way to do it. This market's way too hot, and I've had multiple offer situations, and I've got emails sitting in my spam that I didn't even know there was an offer. No agents called me, so make sure you make those calls, connect with the agents. A lot of agents will give you a ton of info if you pull it out of them. So When you're trying to get your offers accepted, do that. So yesterday while I was preparing these flashcards, my wife had a couple thoughts. So I wrote, stay on subject and no stupid jokes. So we'll skip that one. So my other one right here is come from a place of being truly genuine, giving it 100% for your clients. And even in a bad situation, if you go out of your way to make it right, there's so many agents that we just want to hold onto that commission. If you screw something up, you better spend the money to make it right, because you can make a lifetime client off of a bad experience. Everybody in business expects a good experience. If you go out of your way to make it right on a bad experience, that's how you'll build customers for life. I've screwed things up, whatever. Here's $3,000. What commission's $10,000? Take it all. Doesn't matter. I'm going to make the deal right. So always be prepared to do that, and I think it'll pay off long time. Let's see. I continue to help in the real estate community also. One of the things I have on here is give back and be involved. So I am one of quite a few great volunteers that do the MLS broker tours in Folsom area. So we do that every week. When it comes to lead generation, another note I have here is how many of, I'm sure a lot of people in here have kids. Your children will be your number one lead generation tool for the rest of your life if you do it right. My kids, I coach them in soccer, coach them in soccer, baseball. We go camping with all those families. We're so connected. So many deals have came from that. I'm also real diligent with my time. Real estate is building, they call it lead generation. I call it lead attraction. I've got 2 different gym memberships. I bullshit at both of them half the time. My friends are always taking pictures on Instagram. This guy doesn't even work out. Working out's like 25% of the reason why I'm there. I know everybody when I go into those places. And the referrals that come from all those is astronomical also. So once you begin to get clients, now you want to continue to attract more leads, to attract more business. So one of the things a lot of people overlook is we don't stay in touch or give back to our clients. So COVID really put a damper on it for the last couple of years because we had kicked it off just before that. But we started doing client appreciation events. So our last one was just a few weeks ago. There's a wine bar on Sutter Street. We rented out the whole bar for 6 hours. Open bar, open food, and it was awesome. So we did a little video of the event. Is the volume good, Rob? Those are the only. So that was a big hit. Thanks. Every time I watch that video, all I'm thinking is my videographer got there late, so we got empty plates of food. It looked awesome before it started. But we did a 6-hour event because we had so many people. We had to drag it out. So we're going to do events like that quarterly now. We're going to rent out parks and have DJs, and we're going to be doing a lot of cool stuff to where people want to be part of that. So if you're looking to sell or buy, you want to be part of those events, because once you're our client, now you're invited for life. So those are a real big way that we're trying to continue to build our business. Okay, so there is a few items that I spend money on, and I know my time's getting close here. So here's some of them. Listings to leads. This is a good one. If you're going to spend money, I would suggest looking into that. I know the guy that owns this company personally. He lives in my town. I met him from the barbershop. There's a referral link up there if you did want to try it. I told him I was going to be speaking here, and I didn't want to just pull like their logo offline. So up there, listingstoleads.com/Aaron Rawls, I guess, gets you a 30-day trial. Normally you get 14 if you want to try it. This is my secret weapon when I go on listing appointments, because I go on listing appointments and, you know, they're asking me, well, you know, we're interviewing several other agents. So I say, okay, well, one of the things I do is I invest with you. So when I take your property, I run ads on listings to leads. So it direct targets on Facebook and Instagram and whatever zip code you choose. So I spend my money running ads. Every time someone clicks an ad, a lead comes through on my phone. So then either myself or one of the people from my team, all we do is call them up. Hey Ryan, what's up? This is Aaron Rawls with eXp Realty. I saw you express interest in our listing on 2556 Country Club. Just touch and base, see if you wanted to get in there and see it, if you needed to schedule a showing, or if you had any questions. So we're not just waiting for other agents to bring us buyers, we're actively hunting buyers. So if you're selling your home and someone's coming to you with a proposition like that, and I'm paying for it, it's a really good way. Like if I come in with this after one of you are in there with nothing other than offering the MLS and a cool CMA, this usually seals a deal. Something as simple as that. And I might run my ad for 15 bucks, 10 bucks a day for a week or 2 weeks, whatever. It's not a lot of money, and you get to choose the amount you spend on it. So that's a good one I use. I also use KV Core. Is my CRM. So I use this pretty I try to be real tactful in how I do it. So these are some of my clients now. Well, on KV Core, anytime they put the fire emoji, that means they like it. So then I'm calling up, hey, Caitlin, what's up? Did you see that property on Davidson Road? Or I send it to them. If I look at it and I like it as well, I'll send it to them. Hey, did you guys see this one? You want to schedule a showing? So I'm watching what they're doing, and then I'm following up with it. I'm just not waiting for them to call me. Or like that client, Caitlin's out of town. So I go, hey, Caitlin, you want me to go over there and FaceTime you from that one? You know, I'm proactive. I'm not waiting for them to call me. So that's another good one. Having a good CRM is pretty crucial. And then I utilize a system called Fusion to follow up with all my clients also. So they're staying in touch with all my previous clients, continuing to nurture all that. And now referrals are starting to come from that as well. One time I went on a listing appointment. I got there early. This was early in my career. And there's an agent in there. I saw the agent walk in. So they're literally like lined up listing agents. So I'm sitting there and I see, and I'm like, shit. And it's Tom Daves and one of his guys going in. And I'm like, I already knew who Tom Daves was. He wasn't at EXP, I wasn't at EXP. So I thought, oh man, here I come, knuckle tattoos, hand tats. So they interviewed me. It was like 15 minutes. They're just turning agents out the door. I'm leaving. There's another guy waiting to go in. So I was like, okay, well, not looking good for me. But it made me go home and sit and think, what can I do to convert better? That house was an awesome house on an amazing property, but it was a dump. So I thought, what can I do to start winning over those type of deals? So I came up with this. Hey guys, here to tell you about an amazing new product we just came out with. We have clients that are looking to sell their home. Sometimes the home needs fixing up. A lot of times the clients do not have the money to fix it up. So one of the products that we're offering is to partner with our clients that are selling their home. We use our money, our resources, our contractors to renovate the property. We recently completed a property in Folsom at 120 Whitmer, wherein the property was worth $400,000 to $415,000 prior to renovation. After investing $53,000 of our money, we were able to net our clients $680,000 after one open house. So within several days and one open house, our clients went from $415,000 to $680,000. What do we get in return? We list for a little bit higher percentage and we get our money back at close of escrow. There is no hidden gimmicks, there is no hidden fees. It is our money, it is our risk, it is our headache managing the crews to make sure it is done efficiently and promptly. If you or anyone you know would like to benefit from a service like this and maximize the return on your home, please have them give me a call anytime. I'd be more than happy to do a quick 10, 15-minute walkthrough of their property. Thank you. So that literally is just finding a way, creating an opportunity in a venue that I think a lot of people overlook. So that's paid off huge. That's what we're doing in Rancho right now with another one of them. So that's been a big benefit for us. And the commission that we charge when we do that is 8%. So it makes a lot of sense for them. We get our money back and we get 8%. Some of my partners have suggested that we should be splitting the increased revenue, but I really want my clients to be happy and make a ton of money because the referrals that come from that are awesome. My next note here is just like that client. We've created cheerleaders. We try to do such a good job that we create cheerleaders all over the community to where when we're not there, people are promoting us and selling us because no one can sell you like someone else can. So as long as you try to win over and create good relationships, that'll continue to happen. And then all I have here is surround yourself with greatness and keep trying to get better. And I'm done. Thank you.
Did you? No. Hey guys, give him one more round. That was really, really great. All right. Raise your hand. Give me an aha from that. One. No. Which? That's an insult in the South. What's your name, young lady that just raised your hand? What's your name? Nina. Nina, what was your aha?
Thank you. Hi, not to invest in all of the things that we see on Instagram and Facebook and just to really focus on the basics.
Yeah.
Get in front of your potential client and really communicate with sincerity.
Great. Who else had one? Let's get a microphone right there. What's your name, sir? Gabe.
I like go live. The same day you go live, hold the open house.
Good.
Same day, and then also the off-market deals, networking with other agents to build your off-market deals.
Yeah, very good. It's been, the first time I heard about doing that, my mind was blown by someone saying, well, don't you get vacant listings? Yes. Why don't you hold them open during the week? There's no one there. That was 1998. And then in the early parts of 2000, between 2001 and 2005, we heard it over and over again, and still no one's doing it. So I congratulate Aaron on doing such amazing things that, remember he kept saying simple and basic. Who else has got one? Yes, sir. Tom Costello right there.
I love the fact that he finally got comfortable with himself with all his tattoos and just was genuine and authentic. People are attracted to that. And especially when he said, I had a barbershop, I just leveraged my relationships. I didn't pay, I just was myself and leveraged the relationships that he has and waste time at the gym meeting people. What a waste of time.
Yeah, awesome. Awesome. Good call. The gentleman right behind, what's your name, sir?
Matthew.
Matthew.
The biggest thing for me, honestly, was just always extending the kindness and sticking to the basics. I mean, that's the name of the game, and he was able to kind of express that in a very sincere and genuine way.
Yeah. To me, when I was listening, and I took a bunch of notes, was that I must have a telephone full of leads. Meaning my current telephone probably has a ton of leads in it, and he's working those people. So cool. One last one. I don't see much. Oh, right here, Drew, if you don't mind. What's your name?
Amanda.
Amanda.
You know, he talked about the connecting and giving back, giving you the information, and that is so important in this business. You know, we don't have to hold all the information. There's enough business for everyone, and he's a giver, and it's coming back tenfold. So, good job.
Very good.
Awesome.
All right, everybody, give Aaron one more big round of applause. Okay, I don't want to take too much thunder from this man's story because it's another gentleman with an amazing story. His name is Chris Nevada. And I really want him to talk about why his name is Chris Nevada, because that's not his born and raised name. But he'd been in real estate for a while, and he moved to Nevada. And the laws are so strict that you can't call it the Nevada real estate team unless that's your name. So he changed his last name legally to Nevada. Now, he has one of the most incredible stories, and you will hear this, that the way he built his business is completely different than the way Aaron built his business. And that's the beauty of coming to something like this. You must come with an open mind and say, I'll hear a story that will resonate with me. And so now, without further ado, I want you to have the pleasure of listening to Mr. Chris Nevada of the Nevada Real Estate Team. Give him a big round of applause.
Seems like every event I go to, I have to tell this story. So I've been in the business for about 10 years. Started up in Alaska, in a small town of about 10,000 people. And got tired of Alaska and said, I'm going to somewhere else. And I looked at Medford, Oregon. I looked at Reno, and then Flagstaff. But Reno had all the things I was looking for. So I moved there, started my team. And I would say about 18 months there, I was just like, why can't you call your team anything you want? And they're like, well, this is our state law. I go, I still have my team up in Alaska. It was called the Alaska Real Estate Group. And I was like, this is insane. So they go, well, if you don't like it, change your name. So my last name before was Drewsda. It was really hard to say, spell. Since I was a kid, everybody would misspell it. I was adopted, so I don't talk to my parents. So I was like, all right, well, let me check this out, right? So I went to the broker, bounced it off him. He was like, I don't know. He goes, we have someone that was on the real estate commission. Go talk to her. I went, all right. And she goes, I don't know. So I just called the real estate commission. And I said, hey, so I see this rule about your last name. So if I was called, and I didn't want to tell her what I was going to do, so I said, so if I was Vegas, could I be like the Vegas Real Estate Group? And she goes, yes, you could be. I said, all right. So I went to GoDaddy, and for $11, I was able to buy NevadaRealEstateGroup.com. And most people would be like, I can't believe that was available. Well, it was because you can't your last name, right? So I went, all right, cool. So I bought that for $11. $250 went down to the courthouse. 3 weeks later, legally changed my last name. So that's the story of the last name. It's much easier to say, spell, all that great stuff. So anyways, is there a slide for the next one? A little clicker. Cool. All right, so I don't usually speak. I'm more of a panelist. Usually I'm a guy sitting on a panel and people just ask me tons and tons of questions. So like I told you, I was from Alaska. Did 16 years in the Navy, got out, went back to my small hometown, and knew no one. So this was 2011. So I was like, well, what do you do? And they're like, you have to go out and meet people and start doing things. So I did all the things you're supposed to do, but business wasn't coming. So I started doing a little bit more research, and I said, I really like internet leads. And that is what I do. That's what I'm really good at. I'm so good at it. It was funny back there. Rick asked for my business card. I go, I don't got one. I haven't done a transaction in over 6 years. I just don't do them. In fact, I've never done a deal in the state of Nevada. I've been there 4 years. All right, I literally went there and started building my team. Now, I had a team up in Alaska, but when I moved to Nevada, I didn't do one deal. Just got my license. In fact, I got my license up in Alaska. I did everything online up in Alaska. Pearson VUE, all of it, the schooling online. Didn't even go to Nevada. But this is what my team did last year. So we did 288 million, 697 transactions, team of 40. By the way, 35% referral fee. We're just over the hill. So write down my info. So internet leads. So I started in the town. It was a real small, super small town, 10,000. Started crushing it. The average price was like $150. And I was like, this sucks. So I moved to Anchorage. Average price, $300,000. It was all right. Did okay. And I did that for the first 6 years. A little heavy competition. It was really cold. It's very seasonal there. Literally, you do make all your money from April to August, and then you try to survive the winter. It's very dark and cold, and it sucks. So I went to Reno, and I was like, oh, this is great. And people complain about the snow there. I was like, this is not snow. So, started crushing it there. And guys, this whole thing is internet leads. So it doesn't matter, actually I'd like to, maybe a temperature of the room. Like how many single agents are here? If you could raise your hand. What about like small team, like 5 or less people? Like 10 or more on a team? And then some of you didn't raise your hand, thanks. But, seems like a good mix though here in the room. So like I said, on the internet side of the stuff, that's all I do is the internet leads. So I know that we're gonna have a mic here because talking about internet lead generation for 30 minutes is gonna be really hard. It's really a full day or even a 2-day event to get kind of like dive into it. Because you have single agents, you have small teams, and every step of the way, each one's different. But I can tell you this, in 4 years that I built this team, I only went to Reno and I started using, I think it was $1,000 is all I spent per month. And then I just reinvest and put it back into the business. All right, I mean, for us we did about 8 million in GCI. I only spent $600,000 last year. I think anybody would give up $600,000 for 8 million in GCI, all right? So everybody has a different way of doing real estate. I just found that doing internet leads just made sense. 97% of people are gonna find their home online, right? That's where they go. I do all the leads, I don't care which one they are. Zillow, yeah, Realtor.com, I do Google. I stay away from Facebook nowadays, just the lead quality is worse. Because the whole thing about internet leads is it's simple math, okay? Think about Facebook, probably the worst quality type of lead. It's about a 1% conversion rate. So you have to do about get 100 leads to get 1 sale. But if it costs you $3 a lead, I mean, that's $300 for 1 deal. Would anybody exchange this $300 for 1 deal? All day long, right? Then you go up to the next one, it would be Google. And that's typically, depending on who's calling and your conversion rate, but I'd say it could be 1 to 2% on that. It could be as high as 3. And so once again, simple math. Let's just say 2%. You get 100 leads, you're gonna get 2 deals. Then when you move up to the portal leads, which are much more expensive, you're looking at 7 to 10% conversion rate, all right? And so for internet leads, even if you want to just start doing it, you can do it for a few $100s a month. It's not very expensive, but you have to work them, right? That's kind of the deal with it. Let's do some questions though, because I know there's going to be lots of questions about internet leads, team size, solo, and there's going to be people with multiple questions, so hopefully we can get all those answered. People have questions, internet leads? Because I don't have any pretty slides.
We got one, Chris.
Okay, well, right here, she just asked one. She wanted to know what tool I'm using to kind of follow up with all the leads. So I have tried every single shiny object out there. And when you do 8 million in GCI, you can afford to do that, right? So I've tried all of them out there. You can name them, Sync. Sync's no different than if you have Boomtown or Chime or all the rest of them that are out there, right? I used to believe, and you'll hear it a lot, the best CRM is the one that you use. Yeah, that's bullshit. It's on, sorry, it's recorded. Edit that part. So recently, last year actually, and this should, if you're building a team, this becomes super important, and you really don't realize it until your team gets about 30 or 40 or 50 people, then you're like, oh my God. So every platform that you train on and you do, you start to figure out that there's something better, right? There's always a next best thing. Because some of these companies don't keep up with technology. Some of them are out there just to make money, and Sync is. I was with them for many years. I mean, Ylopo, they're the same bit. I don't care who they are. They're out there to get subscribers so they can turn around and sell it. That's what they're trying to do. So sometimes they're not in there for the R&D, the good R&D, right? Not rip off and duplicate, but they're out there trying to develop and get more stuff, but they don't want to spend the money for it. They want subscribers. So when you're doing all these platforms and you're building your team and all that stuff, if you want to go to the next thing, then you have to retrain your whole entire team, right? So the best CRM I've found is Follow Up Boss, right? So, oh, someone claps. What's cool about Follow Up Boss is it's just a CRM. And when you have multiple lead sources coming in from the internet, what I found on something, I'm just going to speak to Sync, but most of them are pretty much the same deal. They have what they call a closed API. Like they're not sharing. So if you want to do Zillow, Realtor.com, or you saw listing of leads earlier, all right, there's a bunch of programs out there. They don't necessarily talk to those very well because it's a close. Where Follow Boss, it's open. Like they'll trade information back and forth, right? They record your conversations so that you can help with those conversions, training, right? They have more action plans, more ways to set things up. It's amazing. Okay, so, and also as many pond accounts as you want. And for those that don't know what a pond account is, basically when you have a big team and you're bringing leads in, your overflow of leads that you've not contacted go into a pond. So my 40 agents every single day get to come to the office or from home, wherever. I have, over the last 2 years, I have like 18,000 leads in that pond. Those are people we have not contacted. The database is around 60, 70,000. We've disposed those one way or another. Either they bought with us, they're further out, or whatever it may be, right? So that's why I love Follow Up Boss. That's the one we use to convert at a high level. Yeah.
Regarding Google, we've tried like AdWorks or HomeSnap. I'm not sure if you've either of those where you advertise the listing. Any feedback on that? And then regarding Google itself, is it pay-per-click or build out your site organically and do keyword search? Could you just speak to that?
Yeah. So what's the cool part about me not doing transactions is I get to work on my business 100% of the time, right? So it's always waking up, what value can I give, what's the next technology, all that stuff. And for like Google there, pretty much the way we're talking about Chime, Boomtown, all the rest of them, they have their own pay-per-click in-house stuff that they try to do, and they say they're really good at it. And then they charge you 25%, right? So if you spend $1,000, only 750 of your dollars are going towards those Google leads. So I have found the best place. So we use Sierra Interactive. The reason I like Sierra Interactive, one, Sync and all of them are going to charge you like $1,000, $1,500 a month for the platform. Where Sierra, I believe right now they're like $300 to $500, something like that. Definitely not more than $500. What's great about Sierra Interactive? There's only two companies that I would recommend for SEO, right? And Sierra Interactive is one of them. The other one's a Canadian company that I hate, and I'm not going to even say their name because I don't like them. And they're Canadians, so no offense. But Sierra's here locally, USA, right? And so when I talk about my leads, I've had Sierra for the last 2 years. We probably pull in about, and I work on our SEO on our site, probably about 200 to 300 leads organically a month. So organically means I just don't pay for them, right? There's a guy up in Boise that crushes it on a high level. He gets like 1,500 leads in a month organically. So my goal is to get there, but SEO is a whole different game, and that's a long-term game. But I let them run, and here's the great thing about Sierra. Don't quote me on it because it's been a couple years, and I spend way more than $2,000 a month, but I believe up to $2,000 a month, maybe $1,000, they don't charge you pay-per-click management fee. So your full $1,000, your full $2,000 goes to those Google leads, right? And that's a big thing. Because when you're trying to calculate your ROI and how much the leads are, you have to take into account what your platform costs you, and then what are they charging you for a pay-per-click management fee. So Sierra solves all those problems for me, plus SEO. Plus it feeds right into my Follow-Up Boss. Now the cool thing about Sierra, they have their own CRM. Without a doubt they have it. But once again, I never wanted to retrain my team. So if my team knows Follow-Up Boss, I never have to retrain them again. Whatever we want to get down the road or whatever other lead sources we want, we just funnel them with Follow-Up Boss, and they know how to work it. Is that good?
Yeah, thank you, Chris.
All right.
So what do you require of your team? Like, do the leads go to them in a round robin type format? Like, do they have any kind of tracking or accountability or conversion? Like, how do How do you track how your team is actually doing, other than obviously selling houses? But there's a lot more to that.
Yeah, I mean, I have a sales manager. She's actually in the back. And she monitors that for me pretty well. We have different rules and guidelines what we do. We don't do a round robin, right? Because I don't need the brand new agent or the person that's kind of lazy just waiting for the call. My team has always been built on friendly competition, okay? And that's why I love the pond system, because we have like a first to claim for it, and if they don't answer it, then it goes into our unclaimed pond the next day. So it allows anybody to basically go fishing every single day, and they can pull as much as they want.
So does it blast all of them then, the first one to answer?
Yeah, so
So the way I want to understand it, so it blasts to everybody, and the first one who gets the lead gets it. And then it goes into the pond, and then anybody can jump in that pond and grab any kind of leads they want if it doesn't get claimed. Is that what you're saying?
yeah, it does. Now, here's the problem like you'll run into. If your team gets more than 10, I would never recommend more than 10 people. It's just too much. So every week we have different rules and guidelines we made. How many you have to make a minimum of 250 calls. We also say you can only keep up to 30 leads, and that's really important if you're running a team. Don't have more than 30 leads that you're working. Even a solo agent, don't work more than 30 people. You can put those in other categories, right? But if you're truly working 30 people, that's how your conversion rate goes up, because you're really laser focused on those 30. So I only put 10 people in per week. They have first to claim, and we rotate that every week based on what they did previous. And that is your account up to date? Are your notes, are your property alerts set up for your clients? And based off that, we put those 10 in rotation for the week for first to claim. So once again, friendly competition, it's making everybody do the job they're supposed to be doing.
So out of 40, you'll take the top 10 for that week, and they
Correct.
get leads for the week. And then the next week, that could be adjusted based on who stepped up and who didn't.
Correct. And even that 10 previous, maybe there's a few there that get to stay in it. So, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, follow up on that, Chris. And do you police in Sierra or in Follow Up Boss?
Follow up, boss.
Got it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Sierra's great, and it's great for a small team, but when you start getting to a larger team, there's some functions that I really want, especially that call recording. So if I have an agent that's making 2,000 calls a month, they're setting X amount of appointments, but there's some type of problem, a conversion problem, I can go back, or my sales manager can, and listen to those phone calls and see what are they saying, right? So it's a great training tool, too.
Hey, Chris. I'm changing my name. My name is going to be Johnny Roseville moving forward.
Nice.
So, Johnny Roseville right here. But in all seriousness, I have two questions. One, where can I meet with you and take you out to like a fancy seafood dinner and call you again?
So check this out. I got my info here for a reason, right? That's my Facebook. You guys can all add me on Facebook. On my Facebook, I have a Calendly link. I'm happy to spend 30 minutes with, I don't care if you're a solo, small team, or whatever you want to do. Happy to help out and then guide you, whatever your deep questions are. Because that's the thing. I got like 30 minutes up here, but really internet lead generation, depending on what you're looking for and what you're trying to do, you can start at the very small level, right? A couple $100. And then it just it's so scalable, right?
Do you use GGMS?
What's that?
Do you use GGMS?
I don't, but I know what it is. I mean,
okay.
What platform is that?
That's like Ylopo's version of Sierra.
Isn't that the North Dakota boys?
Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah. Florida. Okay.
I had someone build out our action plans and stuff like that within Follow Up Boss though. For that.
Okay, so that's what you did.
Yeah.
Got it. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Hey, Chris, this is great. I want to ask a question. You are generating all these leads and giving them to your team. What are your splits on that? How are you handling that?
Interesting. So, for the longest time, I was such a strong believer in 50-50, right? And we were up to 50-50 up to October 1st. And then there was a bunch of changes that happened. One of them was Realtor.com came in, they ripped all our leads away for the Reno area. I forget what it was called. Oh, by the way, my rep wanted to say, I don't know, reach out to me. He has a 25% discount code if anybody wants Realtor.com. I told him I'd plug them. So, but they ripped all our leads away and they moved it to what they call Market VIP. And they've done that to about 20 cities across the country. So I had to buy all that up. And so basically I own all of Reno, Realtor.com now. But it costs like $60,000 a month, right? And so, don't worry, I have a lender. They pay half. So, That's another whole nother secret. But we do generate a lot of business that way. So, well, how about this? It ranges from 35 to 65. 65 being like Sphere, 35 being our portal leads because they're so expensive. I even I let my team decide. I said, hey, listen, here's the deal, guys. This is how expensive it is. Do you guys still want Zillow and Realtor.com? If so, then you're only going to get 35. They're like, oh, we'll take it. Great. All right. And there's a reason why it's 35% referral fee. We also do OpCity, right? That's Realtor.com. We pay that out already. So I'm like, I guess that's the new norm, and they're happy doing it. And then, now here's the deal with my team too. The Realtor.com, we have to pay a referral fee. Then we split everything 50-50. There's a lot of different models out there and a lot of different things with splits. It gets you have to take the temperature of your team. Also, I hate to say it, guys. I know this is being recorded, but I don't really have competition in Reno. So when you don't have much competition and you're recruiting and you're bringing those people in, it's the value that you can offer them. I mean, it's one thing when I sit down with someone to join my team, I'm like, here's my pond of 18,000 people. If you join today, you can start calling. They're like, oh my God, yes. So sometimes it comes out of that value proposition, what you're offering, what you're doing. But my team loves doing that, especially since we were 50-50 for so long.
And Chris, we got one over here.
All right.
I actually have like 3 questions.
You say 3?
I'll say them quickly back to back. One of them is if you use Pixel to retarget all those Google ads. And then second is what funnel or landing page are you sending them to? And what system are you using for that? And then when you do get these leads, are you immediately following up on them and doing action plans on follow-up boss? Or do you have somebody just eventually follow up on them out of an abundant amount of leads? Because I'm guessing you get many a day and you can't follow up on all of them.
Yeah, so yes, on Pixel. For the landing page would be, I allow Sierra to go ahead and handle my Google ad spend. And it's like any other type of website. If they type in Roseville Homes for sale, right, it just shows them the whole page of Roseville Homes. They try to click on it, they have to register, now they become a lead. And then yes, we allow the action plans to do a lot of the follow-up, and I wish my agents would be a lot better at it, and they're not, or my conversion rate would be a lot higher. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, so our average per person that we call is like 1.9. It's horrible. I need more people. I could literally have another 30 people and still have too many leads, right? But I don't let my competition buy any, so I just buy up the rest of the stuff. And which makes it easy for recruiting. We literally have 10 people onboarding, getting ready to go. So it's just a constant struggle of, better follow-up. But, I mean, we do the best that we can for right now, but our conversion rate gets higher and higher.
Hi. So if you are not on a team, if you're a solo agent and say you're brand new and had $1,000 a month to spend on marketing or leads, what would you spend that money on for the best return?
Oh, good question. $1,000. Well, you need a good CRM and a website. That's the first step. You have to have a website showing homes, right? So your IDX, and then you have to be able to get lead capture them. So whatever that's going to be. I don't even know the pricing anymore because it's been several years, but Real Geeks was only a couple $100. I don't know if anybody's using them, but how much? There you go. I knew someone was using them. Well, listen, if your brokerage, I'm just trying to say your brokerage, offers one of those type of platforms, KV Core or whatever else, yeah, definitely use it. That's a no-brainer. And just to let you know, for my first 6 years, I used Conversion. And that's what KV Core used to be called. And I used that, once I got over about 10 people, they didn't have, and this was 4 years ago, they didn't have all the stuff that I needed, so I moved to Sync. Then Sync, my team got too big for that and outgrew that. That's why I was tired of retraining my team on new systems. Don't get me wrong, when I was in Reno for the first 8 months, I had Conversion, KV Core. I'm still today closing those leads. I love it when our lead form comes in for a pending, and it says Conversion. I'm like, oh, that was a long time ago, right? So, and that's the great thing about internet leads, right? Especially when you start talking about Google, because they can be short-term, long-term, and that's why you have the conversion rate that you have with them. So their $1,000, definitely need that website, couple $100. Even Sierra's pretty decent. And then I would put that to your Google ad spend. I would tell them, don't do Facebook. That's if you have $1,000. Now, if you have a smaller spend of 500-ish, yeah, try those Facebook leads. That's the way to do it. All right, let's go.
Hi, Chris.
Hey.
Hi. Congratulations being #1 in Nevada.
Oh, thank you.
I just looked you up at Road Trends.
Oh, do you see how better we did this year? I can't wait for our new numbers.
Well, we'll see what you did this year. Probably more, right?
No, right here is where we did this. Where last year, I think Real Trends probably has me at what 400 last year for
441.
Oh, there you go.
So we did #1 for medium-sized team in California. We were at 243 last year.
Okay.
2020, but this year is more. But I think the competition is there. So I have a question for you. I am doing internet leads like you are doing. Sorry. Hi, Rick. But my question that I'm running, like the problems that I'm running into is that do you get the leads and you put it to your agents to call them, or you hire a concierge and then you have the concierge get in touch with them first, and then once the lead become viable, you pass it down to the agent? Because what I found is that if the agent gets the call first, they get burned out because there's so many leads coming in from all different sources, and a lot of those leads don't really, are serious leads. They might be renters, they may be somebody just click on the website. So does your agent will get tired of that? Do you see that your team burning out from that?
No, I don't see that. I mean, from them. I've tried ISAs, I've tried all types of stuff, and nothing comes better than my agents, right? And it trains them. And by the way, like in my team contract, I tell them at the very end, I hope one day that you go solo or you build a team. And I'm with EXP, so I'm like, build a bigger team than me, please, right? Like, go do that, and I will help you build that. So
you won't hire concierge to filter the leads first, then pass down to your agent?
No, I mean, I think your agents need to be trained how to speak on the phone and talk to them, right?
Right.
I'm not big into open houses. I'm not big into doing all that. My guys can rattle through, especially Follow Bots that has a dialer. So they go through the calls very, very fast and very quick to talk to people. And I have a lot of outside coaching that I bring in for like conversion training and things like that. So they're pretty dialed in. And when I talk about friendly competition, you find out who kind of rises to the top. Like we just did our end of the year awards last weekend. Everybody hears about the 80-20 rule, right? Well, 35% of my team made over 6 figures. So we have a lot of really talented people on my team, and those people in return help the guys that are joining the team, right? Go listen to them, see how they're talking to them. I've never found ISA or a concierge service that does very well. Even the Realtor.com, that's what I have now. That's what they do with Markup VIP. They call them first, then they transfer them to my agents.
In other words, I probably need to hire like an accountability manager to coach the team to make sure the team are doing what they're supposed to do versus hiring a concierge service to filter the leads for them, then pass it down.
Yeah, that's what I call a lazy agent, but you know what I mean? And when we go back to our team splits that we were talking about, I have one ISA because it's very, very cheap and like I can't get to all the leads. And every year I'm like, I should just try it again. Maybe it'll work, right? Never does. But if they get an ISA lead, they only get 35%, and every single hand will go up. I'll do that all day long, right? They just want the deal handed to them. They'll go out and do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I would definitely train. They need to be able to speak on the phone. They need to have their scripts and their dialogue down.
So the agent needs to be in a specific category, like not a brand new agent. It would be somebody that's more seasoned that would be able to join that lead group, whatever lead that you're dispersing to.
Yeah. Now, listen, if you're building a team, here's the best team advice I'll ever give you guys. Most people, when you get to the 80-20 rule, right, which basically means 20%, right, are going to be good. If I took all the agents and 20% of you in here, you probably do 80% of the business. Okay, that's just a common rule that goes around. So when you're building your team and you're like, what about this, what about that? Like, you just have to hire more people, right? When you hire more people, for every 10 people that you hire, 2 will stay on your team. The other 8 just won't make it for one reason or another. They're not willing to do the work. They're not willing to do it. So like on my team, my guys, because we do friendly competition, they deselect. So I never have to fire somebody. They usually go, hey, are you in the office? Can we talk? I'm like, sure. Hey, it's not you, it's me. I go, I know. I'll still be your friend. You know what I mean? So you just have to hire more people, and you'll find those people that are really good on the phone, and they'll make it happen.
Raise your hand if you want next.
Oh, next. Way in the back.
I'm getting my steps in today.
Yes. And this is the thing about internet leads, guys. It's really difficult to dive into because every aspect of it can be different for a single, small team, medium team, or a large team. Okay.
Quick question here. PPC. Is Sierra Interactive just taking care of all that, or are you like a PPC expert?
Good question. So I like to say that back in 2011, we didn't have companies like that. I lost, and by the way, this is in a town of 150,000 average. I lost like $100,000 that year of my own money. So I thought I was a PPC expert, but I wasn't because I didn't know what I was doing. But I let Sierra handle all that. I don't touch it anymore. They handle all that for me. And I recommend anybody, let someone professionally handle it. There's been way too many changes with Google. Google changes all the time. Every 3 months there might be some change. And it's just not worth it. And if you're going to dive into it or you've been doing it, there's actually really great programs out there that you can Google online. I don't have one on the top of my head, maybe Few. I can't remember them all. But you can actually go spy on your competitor's website and you can see what keywords are they going after? What are their ads look like? What are they doing? How much are they spending? What's the average of a lead? So there's several programs out there that you can just go, oh, that's how they're doing all their business. Here's the keywords. And then you can go to someone like Sierra or something and you go like, here's a list of the keywords I like to go after.
Are you doing anything to follow up with all that to generate referrals and repeat business? Are you doing that also through Follow Up Boss? I mean, like, what do you do that's not internet related to continue to get those people to come back through you and your team and,
Yeah, so you got to imagine this. I'll never forget my first year in Reno when I went to, and I go to a lot of masterminds. That first mastermind I went to that year, everybody had to stand up and talk about their business and all that stuff, and everybody was like, 80% of my business is referrals, 90% referrals. I have to stand up at that time and go, 95% internet, right? It was my first year there. Now, as the time goes on, we collect all those clients, right? Now we're getting a referral base. It gets bigger and bigger and more every single year. That's why last year, or the year before, I did 400 and some units. That's why we did almost 700. Like every year it's growing more and more. Because on internet leads, it's just scalable. It's simple math. The more you spend, the more you get, it works out. And like Follow Up Boss has a great thing in the back end. AM cards, they're great. They send out 5. So as soon as you close a transaction, that can be sent out. They send brownies and some stuff like that too. As far as we do client appreciation stuff, so we're tying all that in. Like, yeah, you have to. Yeah, you have to. When you have that many clients, that many people, it builds super fast. Like we're hoping, if we had more homes, we're hoping to do 1,000 this year. So we'll see how that turns out, though.
All right, Chris, we got our last one here.
Okay.
Hey, Chris. So I normally just do open houses and things like that, but I've been getting asked, a lot about online leads. What is your initial conversation with the online lead when you do call them that first time? Because what we've been getting is, I don't know who the hell you are. I don't know what I clicked on. I don't know why you're calling me. So what does that initial conversation actually sound like as far as like script work and things of that nature?
Yeah, here's the best line I've ever heard, and it works great. You get them on the phone, and you're like, hey, saw you're on our website. Are you looking to buy in the next 2 months? And they say yes or no. And at that point, you know how to take the conversation, right? If they say yes, great. What are you looking for? Let's get you pre-qualified, all those things. If they say no, I was just browsing. They're like, great. That's what my website's all about. It's for people that want to browse. If you don't mind me asking, what's causing you to browse, right? That's when me and my girlfriend on the couch, we're tired of paying rent, right? And you just go down that route with them. You let them talk about themselves and what it is. It's really about rapport building over the phone, right? Getting them to trust and like you. So if you can do basically a handshake over the phone, you'll be really good with internet leads. I mean, they're on there for a reason. And you're right, though. They're not just clicking on my website, right? They're clicking on like 5 other ones. And that's why it's super important to get to them. I always say first to contact, first to contract. So, you have to get on them, right? And that's why that whole speed to lead thing. So, wait, you shut me down? See, I told you, internet leads can go forever. Because I got one awesome thing to tell you guys before I leave. Is that it? All right. Who wants more listings? Yay, everybody. All right, so as I say, I spend a lot of money on like shiny objects. And there's one that's been working pretty well that I like. And I don't have the slide, sorry, but you can Google it. So, and they kind of do everything for you. These are probably the only Facebook ones I like. It's called Street Text. All right. Oh, someone's raising a hand. He goes, yeah, that's a good one. Please don't tell them all about it. He's like, dang it. Yeah, it's called Street Text. And basically, they will generate seller evaluation page for you. They have several Street Text. Like, Street Text. So sorry. But they will generate Facebook leads for you. They will put the seller evaluations out. They have like, I don't know, like 5 or 10 different ones, and they actually show you kind of like what they're converting at nationwide, all that good stuff. What's great about these are if someone lands on the page, if you're not familiar with them, they put their address in there and then like, oh crap, they want my name and phone number and everything else, that sucks. And then they back out. You still capture that address. They're looking for a reason, right? And for listings, when I used to do listings, I was really good with it because you have to make the appointment with them. I can't tell you how many times you go to a listing, and probably all of you know it. You go and you start talking to them, then they open up, right? Mom's sick, we have to sell her house. Didn't want to tell you over the phone because I didn't know you. I'm getting a divorce. All right, cool. I'll sell your house. It's cool. You know what I mean? So you capture that address. Now, there will be a percentage time that you get just their email. You'll get their phone number. But for fairly cheap, I'm running at probably around about $4 to $5 per lead that's coming in currently. Now, then I go and get Title Toolbox, which I'm sure your title people here have for you. And if you don't, get Title Toolbox, and you can look up the address, and for 12 cents, you can actually get their email and phone number about 70% of the time. What's the worst case scenario? You just go door knock them, right? Hey, I'm in the neighborhood. I have buyers that want to buy here, all right, because we all have buyers that want to buy. Are you looking to sell by chance? Well, actually, I am. How did you know? Because you didn't give me all your information. So, Street Text has been really great. I've probably been using it about 6 months. A lot of listings off that, or down the road. Then with Street Text, you can actually move all those. And by the way, for your past clients, I love HomeBot, right? I'm sure a lot of people use HomeBot. If not, use it. So then you take those addresses and with their email. All you need is the address and email. You put that into HomeBot. It's fairly cheap, $25 a month, up to like 500 contacts. You can go higher. It costs a little bit more. And then they drip on them every single month. And they have some incredible open rate of like 80% or something higher. And then these people reach out to you and go, oh my gosh, my home is so much more. I'd like to sell. So Street Text, HomeBot, they merge really well together. And if you have past clients, just put all your past clients in the HomeBot. They will drip on them every single month. It tells you that they opened it, how much their home went up, all that good stuff. And I'm getting yanked off, so. Oh, okay, that's good.
Who wants 3 more minutes?
All right, questions?
We got one over here.
You said something about conversion coaching for your team. Who do you recommend to help out with that?
Oh, I'll tell you who I use, and then I know he coaches a bunch of people. What's cool about him is, anybody use Sync in here? Raise your hand. Anybody? Sync. Oh, not too many. That's good. Good for you guys. He was the head trainer for Sync. He has his own coaching company now, and John Marone. And then he coaches, his coaching partner is Tessa. Yeah, John. You mean, Marone. Yes. Marone. And his partner is Tessa. She's amazing at social media. And so she hits that up with that, and she's out of Phoenix. She had a partnership with the Phoenix Suns. She'll go on and on. She's really good with Instagram. I don't have it, but you could probably find her, Tessa Bella. She goes by Tessa Bella. But so I use John. They do 6 things a month. The team loves it. They just they do everything, all the way from social media to conversion training to life stuff. If you're into that touchy-feely heart stuff, half my team is. So I'm like, all right, So they do all a well-rounded stuff with the conversion stuff. up.
Okay. How many of you will be leaving here to have your name changed after today? Okay. Because there's not that many cities, so good luck with that. I got to tell you, I'd heard about Chris for about 2 years. I was talking to a large team in Lafayette, California, which is near where I live, a couple years ago. And they're like, do you know Chris Nevada? No. You got to know Chris Nevada. Do you know he changed his name? I was like stumped. I was like, is this story going somewhere? And then I actually sat down with the guy to have a drink and talk. And the first half hour of our conversation, because I was trying to get him to join my team, my sales team, all he talked about was you. And I said, well, do you know him personally? He goes, no, I use Sync. I learned about him that way. So I think you guys had that Sync mastermind or something. Yeah. So anyway, give him a big round. Thank you for coming up to see us. All right. And just in case I miss, is anybody on the Rick Geha team here right now? I didn't see anybody, but it's a big room. Okay. I'm going to be so angry at them for not driving the 2 hours to see this because it was amazing. I don't know about you, but I took tons of notes, and I've been in the business 42 years. I'm like, I got to learn more. How many took a ton of notes today? All right. So can we have an honest conversation really quickly? You willing to be open, vulnerable, and honest with me? Yes or no? Yes. Thank you. It's the only people that come to these kinds of classes. Here's the definition of adult learners. People who want to change the world. People who want to live by example. People who want to help people have a better life. Is there anybody in here that doesn't believe the 3 things I just said describes you personally? See, no hands went up. This is how we feel about ourselves, that we were put on earth to make a difference, not to be mediocre. All right? By the way, mediocrity is comfort. It's average. It's okay. Remember that nothing about your feelings is good, bad, right, or wrong. All you want to decide after today is not what is good, bad, right, or wrong, but what works for getting you where you want to go. The number one malady in the commission sales industry is these 2 words, less than. How many of you have had an experience with less than? I feel less than. I'm not tall enough. I'm not handsome enough. I'm not smart enough. I don't sell as many houses as he or she or they or them. Do you know that the number one reason in the commission sales industry, most specifically the real estate commissioned industry, is comparing yourself to others? There isn't one person at one moment in this room that so far during the first 2 speakers didn't say to themselves, why haven't I done that before? Or you didn't say to yourself, why am I not that far at this age in my life? How many of you are willing to admit that you had a similar less than thought today at some point? Yeah, and all you got to do is get real with that. I've coached on that, I've spoken on that, and yet every day, including today, I found myself feeling that way. I got so many compliments on my suit today. And every time I got one, you know what I thought? I don't sell as many houses as him, though. This is not where we're going. The reason Brent, my buddy, puts on these kinds of events is so that you can move your life forward. But not forward like Chris Nevada or Aaron Rawls, but forward like what you want. Mark Twain's most famous sayings, I can help anybody get what they want if I could just find someone who knew. It's not for you, for me, it's not about how many houses I'm going to sell. It's about where do I want to go. You know what I loved about both Chris and Aaron? They both had a subtext that maybe you picked up and maybe you didn't. It's called profitability. Right? Real estate, especially with your average sale prices, my average sale price, I'll bet mine is higher than yours. cash flow looks really good, but are you profitable? What I loved about what Aaron said, I did that for years. I knew no idea how many buyers or sellers we closed. It was all about, did I make a profit or not? Was there money left over after all the costs were paid? But all of that stuff combined is you stopping for a minute and saying to yourself, where do I want to go? Yes, we all want to make more money, but money's not a why. It's a tool to fund your why. Do you get that? No, I mean, do you really, like deep in your soul, do you get what that means? My kids are 36 and 33. They're both working their butts off. One is a journalist. They don't pay journalists anything. He's literally considered poverty. His income is considered the poverty level in Northern California. He had to get this is my 33-year-old. He's an amazing journalist for the two of the 3 top papers in the Bay Area, the San Jose Mercury News and the East Bay Times. Writes great stories, loves what he does. He had to apply for a low-income lottery to get an apartment to rent from just to be able to move out from his mother's house. I know what you're thinking. Well, Rick, give him some. I know. His brother, who's 36, went to LA, got a degree in kinesiology, and him and his wife combined make $250,000 a year being members of the Teamster Union in the entertainment industry. Right? Until the day he got married at 30 years old, he was using my American Express card and his mother's Visa. When he was 30, at 33, he bought his own home with no money from his mother or me, was free of debt, and bought a $650,000 house in LA. Called him the other day, how do you? How's everything going? You went through that rough 2 years where you were unemployed for a while. He goes, no, we're good. And he goes, we're thinking about buying a house in Northern California now. I go, you mean sell yours and buy one? He goes, no, keep this one. I go, wait, all that time you're on unemployment during COVID when they weren't doing movies or TV shows and you weren't working. He goes, yeah, we still saved a ton of money. He goes, Dad, at the end of 2021, we'll have $100,000 in the bank. I'm like, who are you? And where is my son? All of that is not about the money, but he has decided where they want to go. That because he was born and raised in Northern California, he eventually wants to come back here, that he wants to have a house, he wants to have leveraged income. The point of the story is not my kids. The point of the story is not poverty. The point of the story has to do with knowing where you're going. Knowing what you want the money to change in your life. I used to think I wasn't a great dad. I'd go running out in my suit because when I was younger in real estate, I'd always wear a suit and tie. And then it was their baseball game days, Wednesdays and Saturdays. And I'd go running to the Wednesday games, get there a little late, but I'd have my suit on. I'd go into my trunk and get out my little portable chair and I'd watch, right? I didn't miss birthdays, but I worked a lot of hours. And all that time, guess what I was thinking? I was thinking less than. I wasn't a good dad. In 2008, I remember having to clear out a storage unit, and I started finding all these things. By this time, both my boys are graduating from high school and college, and I started finding these notes. I found these papers that they turned into their school about their dad and about their mom, different ones, right? And everything that I saw that they wrote about their dad put me up on a huge pedestal. I'd be standing in a dusty storage unit crying my eyes out. But my commitment to myself was, where is the money going to take me? I'm in my second and final marriage. There will not be another. And they're both, one's married, one's in a committed relationship. And the one thing I realize is that I want my money to allow me to have more time with my kids, more time with my second and final wife, and more time with my dog, more time on my RV, more time in my new dream home. Those are the things I want. So I'm willing at 64 years old to continue to work my butt off because I am so happy about what the money allows me to do. So the reason I'm making this little impassioned speech is mostly for me. But what I want for you is to just for a minute have some alone time. You, yourself, and your maker. And stop and think, in all areas of my life, what do I want? I'm 100% Lebanese, born and raised. Everything about my life is food. And there are other cultures like that. How many of you have a culture where everything's about food? That's your nationality. Go ahead, raise your hand. Come on. The Latinos, the Chinese, the Italians. Come on. It's not just Lebanese. After I started dating Casey, the one who's my wife now, I started thinking, God, I got to take better care of myself. She's much younger than me, and I want to live forever. So I went from generally being around 200 pounds to, for the last 5 years, I range around 170 pounds. All right? Yesterday at my doctor's appointment, I was 171. But I found out recently that even though I take great care of myself, I exercise, I eat right, that I have genetic high blood pressure and genetic cholesterol problems that will not go away no matter how healthy I live my life. I'm pissed. I'm serious. I'm freaking pissed off about this. And apparently my ascending aortic valve is 4.2 centimeters, and at 5 centimeters you risk an aortic aneurysm, which typically means instant death or pretty close to that. So now I'm really pissed off because I have to give up iced tea. I'm not supposed to have caffeine anymore because that can raise my blood pressure. I'm just really pissed off. Now, there are some amazing Lebanese foods that are still healthy for me. If you're making it correctly. Like tabbouleh is one of my favorite foods in the world, and if made correctly, you know, it can be really great. So I am looking forward to a few things, but leaving Diet Pepsi and iced tea behind, I'm not a coffee drinker, is not happy for me. Not happy. But this morning while I was driving here, we stayed with some friends in Granite Bay last night, so I didn't have such a long drive. I realized that I have a freaking incredible life. And when I woke up next to my wife this morning, I said, I don't want anybody else's life. I love mine. And I'm going to continue because I ain't getting off the stage. I'm not going to stop talking to people about buying and selling. I want to do better at that, or I wouldn't be here listening and taking notes from Chris and Aaron. You have an opportunity today. You're going to leave here. It's going to be about lunchtime. Go have lunch alone. Go have lunch with somebody you would be willing to share your soul with. People that you can be open and vulnerable with. And say, let's figure this the freak out. And build a plan to get there no matter how long it takes, folks. This is a journey, not a destination. I am not where I want to be in all areas of my life. And I doubt you are. Today's the day. Please. You don't have to wait for a freaking January 1st or a freaking birthday. Today's the day. Who has a birthday today? Do you have a birthday? What's your name? Teresa, today's the first day of the rest of your life. So, it was a lead generation seminar, and you're probably thinking, what the hell is he doing up there? Because this is none of this about lead generation. How many how many don't love the relationship they're in? And if the person is here, please don't raise your hand. Who doesn't love a relationship you're in? And it doesn't have to be an intimate one. I mean any relationship that you have. No, everybody loves every relationship. Thank you for being honest. Thank you. Do you know what that problem is? That's a lead generation problem. You haven't generated enough friend leads to get rid of that one. Right? I'm serious. Don't you know when you're running around, you know intimately, deep down inside of you, when you're running around with a buyer that's probably not going to end up buying, you've wasted your time. Has that ever happened to any of you? Yeah. It's like that. You don't like your wife, your husband, your significant other? Lead generate better. Oh, that's not the lead generation we were talking about? Okay, sorry. Yeah, the next class we'll do on that. But here's what I do want to say. I do tons of talks. I did one last week on behavioral style for human beings. And most of you probably heard of something like that, either the DISC or many different, there's tons of them out there. But the one thing that is true, I used to have 9 Keller Williams franchises that had 1,000 agents in them. And Although those days are long in the past, the education that I learned from owning those offices and the experience in losing all of my money keeping them open, I remember that I'd go to bed at night, and when I got down to say my prayers, I would pray that my agents would do two things. One was to lead generate. Literally, I would say that every night. God, please help the agents in our office have the courage to lead generate, the determination to lead generate. That was the one thing. The second thing I would pray that they would do, listen to this, because you showed up here today and you showed up here today to learn stuff to help you. Would I be right with that? But the one thing human beings don't do that I pray that they do is learn to ask for help, to reach out and ask for help. And I will tell you this about both those things. What's the two things I would pray that my agents would do? And ask for help. Do you know that behaviorally, those are two things that none of the behavioral styles do naturally? None of them. And I love when people say, oh, that guy must be a D because he lead generates. No, folks. There is no behavioral style that naturally, when I mean by naturally, behaviorally, and what I mean by behaviorally is naturally occurring, not here in your brain, but here in your gut, that lead generation is something I really love doing. Do you love pulling your fingernails off with pliers? No. That is not a naturally occurring behavior for any of the behavioral styles. So why do some people lead generate better than others? Or more consistently? Because they made an intellectual choice, not a gut, not a behavior, to do something that would move them in the direction of where they were going. Problem is, do they know where they're going? Yes. Does Chris sound like he knows where he's going? Does Aaron sound like they know where they're going? Did they both reveal weaknesses in their systems and their operations? Yes, I took notes. They both talked about what didn't work, but they had to pay a lot of money. What do we call that? That's your tuition in the school of real estate. I loved when Aaron was talking about throwing out $10,000 of the commission, which was the entire commission to make a deal right. Tuition in the school of real estate. That's all. That was one of the greatest lessons my first broker, who was my uncle, taught me in 1979 before I had my license. But if you know now that behaviorally, it is not going to happen that you will lead generate or ask for help, which is something every realtor, me, everyone in this room needs to do on a regular basis, then you got to go, well, then how am I going to do it? You have to use your freaking brain. You have to say, intellectually, I know this is uncomfortable and I'm not going to do it behaviorally, but I must do it to allow me to have what I want on the path to where I'm going. What's the common theme? Where are you going? That's what I said. Today has got to be the day. You get vulnerable, you get real, you get authentic, you get honest. Where do I want to go? How does everything look? How's my health going to be? How's my relationships going to be? All of that can be decided. And it doesn't, sometimes it takes people 15 minutes to get clear. Sometimes it takes them days and years. At 57 years old, 7 years ago, is when I finally knew where I was going. How I wanted every aspect of my life to be. Now, a lot of you have heard my story, but as of 2011, my 31st year in the business, I was broke. I had finally let go of all of those Keller Williams offices that were losing $100,000 a month combined, coming out of the wake of a horrible real estate market. Do I blame myself? Yes, I was the one making the decisions. Do I blame anyone else? No. And what did I say to myself? I said, I know how to do one thing really well, and that's sell houses. I just got to get back and concentrate on that and not on owning offices. Right? I remember all that like it was yesterday. Luckily, the suit still fit, so it looked like I had money. So why am I telling you that story? Because I met, my first wife and I divorced in 2005. In 2008, I met Casey. Casey had just declared bankruptcy and lost her home to short sale. I had just lost everything. I lost the 3 homes I owned in a divorce to my wife. I was $1.4 million in debt with a credit score of 480, living in what Casey affectionately called a skanky apartment. But all we knew is we had to get to work, had bills to pay. Have any of you ever just blind work your butt off just because you had bills to pay? Yes or no? Yeah, probably every one of you at some point. What I was thinking, I was 53 years old, there's no doubt that I'm just going to have to keep selling real estate till I die, because there's no way I'm going to build up enough money at any point between now and then to retire. But I asked for help. I went against my gut and asked for help. And I got help. I had to get some professional help to work on this. Why am I such a freaking loser? Do you know how many times I asked that? How many times I said, finally in 2018, 3 years after I married my wife, Casey, I went to this guy who was $3,500 a month to coach with him. 2 one-hour calls. What is that? $1,700 an hour. Changed my life. Changed my life. Look, the most important person in this room is the person sitting in your seat. All right? But what did we agree? That all these people in here want the same thing. They want to help others. They want to make a difference. You want to help others? Fix you first. Go to work on you today. And my nationality, that was called selfish. Mom always said, my mom and dad never said, don't take care of yourself. But they never said, take care of yourself. What did they say? What do they say in all of your cultures? Most of my Indian friends tell me the same thing, that they say, make sure your family's okay. Take care of your brothers and sisters. Make sure your mom and dad are taken care of. I was overweight, blood pressure, cholesterol, right? I was broke. How did that all happen? By me taking care of thousands of people, but not myself. Now, healthy, happy, resourceful, with some money in the bank and a home of my own, I help more thousands a day than I ever did when I was unhappy and unhealthy. So, we learned some great stuff today. Some of you will use some of it. Some of you will use all of it. All of you will use at least something. I promise. But what you have to do is know where it's going to take you. And then you can decide, do I want to sell 600 million, 1,000 homes a year? What do you want to do? Yeah. Figure it out. Ask for help. Do the work and take care of you. Thank you guys very much for coming, but don't leave, because I will be hurt. We don't like teasing you with an amazing event without telling you about the next event. Did you like today? All right. Did anybody in here not get one thing they could use? Just one. Was there anybody that didn't get one thing? Raise your hand if you did not get one thing. I'm so glad you did that, because I probably would have embarrassed the heck out of you. I'm just kidding. All right. So become a powerhouse listing agent. I love that Chris Nevada introduced things. Aaron Rawls introduced companies that they use that help them succeed, so that you could call those companies and see if they can help you. Here's what goes through a lot of minds, like what went through my mind in 1981 when I went to my first Tommy Hopkins seminar. I remember thinking, I can't afford that, I don't have enough money. But over the years, as you build your business, you're picking up pieces and you're getting better and better. You want more leverage in your life, less time with clients, start to be a listing agent. Okay? And when we tell that all the time, people go, well, who's going to take care of the buyers? Believe me, there will be someone to raise their hand and take care of the buyers. This is going to be an amazing event, because there will be amazing people sharing their successes, much like today. Okay? All right, so there is a website right down there, powerhouselistingagent22.eventbrite.com. Write that down, take a picture. If I'm in the way, tell me to get the hell out of the way. All right? Listen, all we want is for you to have what you want. For you to have what you want, you got to know what it is and then work to moving things in that direction. Please, you are not less than, you are amazing. All you got to realize is you got all you need to get where you want to go. All right? Thank you so much for coming. God bless you. We'll see you next time.